All right, good afternoon once again, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Tim Pandajis, and we're tracking this Boeing line of very strong thunderstorms. Nothing severe, no watches up right now, but we have gusty winds, a lot of rain, and plenty of thunder and lightning, too, as this line drops its way into downtown Houston. If you're about to hit the roadways for your evening commute, maybe sit tight for 30 minutes to an hour or so to let this pass on through. And, of course, let the drainage do its thing and clear it off the roadways. Let's get a close-up look of what's going on in downtown. This line has been pushing in from the northwest, dropping southeast. You can see all the bright colors on radar here indicating the heavy rain, but also some gusty winds embedded within those cells as well. Now within the 610 corridor, pushing along I-10 through Katy, we're seeing it backfilling off to the south and southwest and off towards the north around 45 in Spring. You had a round this morning, and now you've got a second round coming your way now. Something interesting I want to show you here as I put this on loop over the last 2 hours, and we've talked about this on air at noon and in our last web update. There's this line you see moving out ahead of the actual line of thunderstorms. This is getting picked up by radar, something called the outflow boundary. And what that is when these storms build up, they mature, and then they deteriorate and collapse. And all of that air that's sinking hits the ground and rushes out in all directions. And it kicks up dust and leaves and things like that. And it shows up as a radar return. And a lot of times this acts to initiate new storms. And if you see this develop over the last few hours, these are exactly the same areas that the storms are developing in and dropping their way into the city. So expect more storms down through Sugar Land, Brookside Village, and out towards League City as well as this closes its way off to the south and southeast. So very active here over the next hour or so. I do want to show you, though, some of the other filters on here in terms of any hail. We weren't seeing much. There were a few very isolated spots that potentially could see a little bit of hail, and this is just to the northwest of the city. Potential of a hail core here just to the northeast of 290, looking like, was that Pinemont Drive? This, I'm going to put a query on it here for you. And there's not a lot. The hail size potentially here, radar indicated of maybe a half an inch. Very warm, very humid environment. Likely that's not the size that's reaching the ground. So maybe pea-sized hail in some locations. They're not a huge deal. We're not really concerned about the threat for hail here. It's really the gusty winds as well as the very heavy rainfall. In fact, let's look at those gusty winds. We'll throw on the velocity tool here. And what we look for are some couplets, maybe a couplet like this or a couplet like that that looks a little bit more condensed. This is kind of a bad example, but we'd be looking for something like that to show us some rotation in the actual atmosphere, something like a spinning severe thunderstorm that would potentially put down a tornado. Not seeing that here. Notice a lot of greens, not indicated, not filled in with a lot of red. I'm trying to find my words here. Sometimes it's a little bit hard, but a lot of greens, that tells us the wind's all moving in the same direction, so there's no rotation. That's the good news. We did have a tornado warning much earlier this afternoon to the north, but that's not looking like a threat anymore. It's really just the heavy rain and the gusty winds moving on through downtown. So that's the latest here. We have a 411 coming up in like 15 minutes, so we're going to continue to track this line as it pushes on through Houston. Again, I want to reiterate, if you're about to leave to head out to maybe run an errand or you're getting out of work early, give yourself another 30 minutes to an hour and just sit tight and let this drop its way on through. The good news, too, with this is as we approach sunset, we'll likely see all of this activity start to diminish as we lose the daytime heating. But again, join us in 15 minutes on your 411. I'm meteorologist Tim Pandajis.